I'm here at Farpoint 2018 with author Timothy Zahn. Thank you for speaking with me.
No problem. Thanks for being patient.
No problem. Can you tell me about your latest work?
Well, the latest work is the 9th of my Cobra books, Cobra Traitor. It's the 3rd of the Cobra Rebellion trilogy, and it's the last Cobra book for a while. Last book previous to that was Star Wars Thrawn, and next month the 3rd Manticore Ascendant books, A Call to Vengeance, will be coming out. So it's going to be a busy year for Zahn books.
Yeah. You'll be making a lot of fans happy.
Well, thanks. Hopefully.
Is there any past work that you're particularly fond of?
You're asking who my favorite child is. I like them all. There's nothing in my repertoire that, gee, I wish I had never published that, or I should have written that better. I mean, the earlier ones, of course, I'm not quite as skilled, but there's nothing that I'm not proud of. So, I like the Quadrille series. The Dragonback has been great for the middle grade readers. Obviously, all the Star Wars books. I enjoy doing standalones, Cobra series. So, yeah, they've all been a lot of fun, and hopefully they've been good for the readers.
How many books published?
It's around 55, something like that at the moment. When you've only published 10 or 15, you know exactly how many you've published and how many short stories. Once you get up to a certain range, you start losing track. I will need to go back through my bibliography and count them again, but it's mid-50s someplace.
So how do you know when you're done with a work, with a novel?
Well, I know where I'm aiming. From the outline position I know where the book is going to go. And so as I bring the plot threads out and then start bringing them together, I wind up at that conclusion, and if I've said everything I want to say, then the book is done. Generally around 100,000 words. The shorter ones, well, the Dragonbacks were more like 50,000 because they were for younger readers. My most recent, the sequel to Pawn, Sybil's War book, came out. Those came out mid-90s. Some of the Star Wars books have tended to go into the 110,000, 120,000 range, but around 100,000 each.
Is there something special you need in your workspace to get your work done?
Not really.
No.
I've got my desk, I've got my computer, and just go on from there. I mean, it's a job, but there's no muse or anything that I have to deal with. So, no. Often have a cat. The cat will come and sometimes sit on my lap in the mornings after she's had her breakfast, and then will sometimes go off on the couch in my office for her morning nap. So that's always pleasant.
So how did your first professional success change the way you write, or did it?
Oh, not really. I mean, I started out selling short stories to Analog magazine and others, and just developed everything along the way. Nothing. Okay, I've sold a story. That's good. The second is always a bit more important because, okay, I'm not just a one-hit wonder. Then I started selling books. Okay, I've done more than one. I've done more than two. I've got 10. Okay, I think I've got a career now. At that point, Star Wars came along, and everything just got jumped to quantum step above where I'd ever expected to be.
Right.
And I continue to be way above where I thought I would be at this point in my career. This is very, very nice, very gratifying.
Oh, yeah. So are there, what other works in your field inspire you? Do you have?
I actually don't get to read much fiction these days because it's not relaxation. It's more like research, or it feels like, well, I'll find myself analyzing the plot and the characters and the dialogue, and it's hard to really enjoy. So most of what I'm doing nowadays is reading nonfiction, a lot of history, because I do a fair amount of politics and military, a lot of history stuff goes into the grab bag in the back of my brain to be pulled out later on. Right now I'm reading starting the second of 2 books on how Switzerland avoided being conquered by the Nazis.
Right.
Because Hitler really wanted Switzerland. I'd always assumed, it's just not worth it. I had never realized before that, the Nazis had several plans for invasion, and reading about how the Swiss were able to persuade them this is not a good idea.
Yeah, persuasion.
Fascinating. The armed citizenry and all of that. So all this historical stuff really comes to be useful in books down the line.
Is there anything in science that inspires you?
I will read things that are happening in science, and again, everything an author reads goes into that grab bag. And I may not, somebody's coming up with a better battery design or something. That may come out in a future book if it doesn't inspire anything right now. It's interesting to see certain things coming to the fore, all the artificial limb stuff that harkens back to Luke's hand and Vader in Star Wars. Various types of experimental armor for soldiers that will be flexible until it's hit with a bullet. I did that with the Black Collars in 1983. So it's fun to see some things that I used in a story or a book actually being created. So that's it's. I mean, it's obviously not inspired by me, but it's nice to see. I got that one right.
Right. What science fiction or fantasy in the past have inspired your work?
In the past, I was a voracious science fiction reader. The 4 authors I was most emulated to most. These were my goals. Were Larry Niven for the hard science stuff, Theodore Sturgeon for character development and dialogue, Keith Lamar for plot twists and humor, and the thriller writer Alistair McClane, Guns of Navarone and Ice Station Zebra, for twisty plots, the sardonic, hard-boiled detective-type voice, and tension and dramatic tension and such. So those are that's the goal I'm aiming for in each of those areas.
Yeah. Okay. When you were young, was there a superpower or advanced technology that you wish you had?
Oh, of course, everybody wants to be able to fly. Invulnerable is good. My favorite X-Man was always Cyclops, because the power beam thing. I was really excited when the first movie came out and you actually got to see him doing that, so that was always cool. So, I mean, I read a lot of comic books back in the day as well. So, X-Men. I was a Flash fan for a while. Fantastic Four. I wish they'd make better movies out of them. That's nothing we can do about that. So, I would dream about superpowers as well.
Okay. Is there a novel that you'd really like to write that you haven't done so yet?
There are a couple of Star Wars stories I will pitch when I get a chance to pitch things to LucasFilm. There are several plans I have for future books. When I get my schedule a little bit clearer, I'm going to be pitching those to my agent and then to publishers. So there are several things waiting in the wings for me to have time to do them. I don't think I'm going to run out of ideas before I run out of career.
So that's all the questions I have. Any final thoughts or words?
Nope, it's just very nice to come to conventions and meet the fans and get a chance to talk to people, get out of the office for a while.
So where's they can find you at your website or?
At my Facebook page, facebook.com/Timothy Zahn, just very simple. And at conventions nationwide. We try to keep our convention listing updated as we are able to do so.
On the Facebook page?
On the Facebook page, yes.
Okay. All right. Well, thank you for speaking with me.
Okay, thanks.
Please visit chrisalvarez.com for more cool stuff. You can also find my website and social media information in the podcast show notes. Thanks for listening and keep imagining the future.